What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are continuing with 2021 team preview predictions. And today, another team from the ACC. That's the Florida State Seminoles. Can Florida State get better this year? Can Florida State trend towards where they were about a decade ago? You're going to find out my thoughts in this video. Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel lately. Hey, I am no expert, just a huge college football fan. Try to provide the most accurate information that's available to me. I might not get everything right, but I feel like I'm pretty good about most things. So if you like what you see from me, if you're a Florida State fan, heck, if you're a college football fan like me, please hit that subscribe button down below. The channel, I believe I've already said, is almost tripled in size. So thank you guys so much. You can leave a like, share the videos as well. It just helps push the videos out to people who want to see the content. And you can also leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts on the Seminoles this year. Just, of course, be mindful of what you say. That's all that I ask. So let's talk about Florida State in 2021. They made a coaching splash last year in hiring Mike Norvell, and it didn't seem to work out. Although I do think that Florida State could have done a little bit better last year for more reasons than one, but they were a team that was affected pretty heavily by injuries, opt-outs, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Again, 2020 was a very chaotic year for a lot of teams. But for Florida State, it was a disappointing first year for Mike Norvell, but he wasn't on the sidelines most of the time. Again, 2020, some people can view it as kind of a wash, and I think Florida State fans would like to view it as that, right? Still happened, though. We'll look at their record from last year here in a little bit. We also have to look at talent that they lost from last year. So James Blackman was the starting quarterback until another guy came in and started. We'll look at his name in a little bit. But James Blackman is transferred over to Arkansas State. Don't know how much time he'll get playing there, but not with the Seminole program. LaDamian Webb was a solid option at the running back position. Of course, played behind Cam Akers. Could have emerged into the starting role last year. I can't quite remember if he did or not. But regardless, a solid option at running back. He is gone. You also got Tamorrion Terry, who left the team mid-season last year. I believe early November, Tamorrion Terry left, but led the team in receiving yards in 2019. He was very, very good. You also got DJ Matthews, a wide receiver who's transferring over to Indiana. So that's a loss as well for Florida State. Can't remember if he played last year either. And then some players on the defensive end. You got Corey Durden and Janarius Robinson gone. And then Marvin Wilson. Marvin Wilson also was out with an injury the same time around Tamorrion Terry leaving the team. But regardless, all three of those defensive linemen are gone. And those are some big losses on the defensive line position. So they're going to have to replace guys there. And then, well, defensive backs doesn't get better. Hamza Nasiruddin. I probably said that wrong again. If I butcher names, I apologize. Gone. Asante Samuel, fantastic defensive back, gone second round of the NFL draft. And Jaden Lars Woodby. I realize I spelled his name wrong in the Boston College video, so I apologize, but of course transferred over to Boston College. But hey, it's not about what you lost. It is about what you have. All right. There are some players not on this list that I will mention as well, but don't freak out at me in the comment section like, you didn't mention this player. Relax. If you watch the video, I will say his name. Again, I only have room for so many. Jordan Travis was the starting quarterback last year, is coming back. Now, there are other guys on this team that can start, mainly Chubba Purdy. Could maybe fit into that starting role, but it's probably going to end up being Jordan Travis out of the gate unless McKenzie Milton is healthy and ready to go. So, of course, he transferred over from UCF. Hasn't played on the football field in over 2 years. Of course, suffered that gruesome leg injury against South Florida. I hope McKenzie Milton can come back and play. And I think Florida State fans do too. If he can be anything like he did in 2018 when people say, you know, this can contend for the Heisman, and then, oops, there goes his leg. McKenzie, I'm not trying to make jokes about that leg injury. It was horrible. But McKenzie Milton is still a very good option at quarterback. And again, it depends on his health this year if he can get in to play. Joshua Corbin was that lead running back last year. He is coming back. They're also getting a transfer from Auburn by the name of DJ Williams. So DJ Williams coming over to Florida State as well. Should be a nice 1-2 punch at the running back position. Ontario Wilson coming back at the wide receiver position. I believe was that lead receiver last year. But here's a guy that I think people are going to overlook. It's Andrew Parchment. Who's that, you ask? You've probably never heard of him unless you're a Florida State or Kansas fan. That's right, Kansas. You're getting some attention in the video. That's not a Big 12 video. Yeah, Andrew Parchment's a transfer over from Kansas and was really, really good in 2019. Had almost 900 yards. I believe might have even led the team, the Kansas team, in receiving yards. Of course, that was when Kansas was somewhat decent in 2019. Andrew Parchment should play a big role on this team, as should Cameron McDonald, a tight end coming back, was the third leading receiver last year. Kayer Thomas will bring some experience at the defensive line position. A 6-year transfer, I believe, from South Carolina or NC State's one of the two. Pretty sure it's South Carolina. Jermaine Johnson is a transfer over from Georgia, and then Amari Gaynor coming back at the linebacking position. You also got a guy, I believe, named Stephen Dix coming back as well. Jamie Robinson should provide a nice lift in the defensive back position. That also returns guys like Gant and Jay. So overall, still some nice solid talent for Florida State. There are a couple health questions here, and can Florida State put it all together in a tough ACC schedule? Speaking of which, here is their schedule, and yeah, their schedule's kind of brutal. Florida State's got a lot of talent, but this schedule is tough. You look at the record last year, they were 3-6 in 2020, 2-6 in the conference, which put them all the way down at 13th in the ACC. Yes, there were no divisions in that conference last year. Didn't play in a bowl game. Of course, you guys know how this works. Some games I'm talking about more than others because they are more interesting matchups to me. So if the date gets highlighted in green, it's a win. Highlighted in red, it's a loss. So without further ado, let's talk about Florida State in 2021. And we're going to start out with a red box right away, right? Notre Dame is a team this year that I feel like people might overlook a little bit, but Notre Dame is still a team that really Florida State probably can beat if they play an absolutely perfect game. But Notre Dame going to be the clear favorite in this game. Florida State might be able to exploit some things with this Notre Dame team. But all in all, I don't think too many people are going to argue with me here. Notre Dame is the more talented team. Now, this game is being played on Sunday. That might change a couple things. Also, the NFL moving to a 17-game schedule starting the same week as well. And home field advantage. Again, right, I've talked about it before. We might see the biggest home win percentage we've ever seen. Yeah. I just think Notre Dame is way too talented. And for Florida State to come out of the gate with an upset against Notre Dame in the first game of the season, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Irish win that one. But Florida State should win against Jacksonville State. Remember they played last year or a couple of years ago, and everyone's like, uh-oh, Jacksonville State could win this one. Florida State ended up winning. But, of course, Jacksonville State, not a bad FCS team by any means, but not great comparatively speaking to other FCS programs. Florida State should win this one. All right, then they get a road game against Wake Forest. This is a pretty interesting game, in my opinion, because Travis Jordan might still be the starter. They might have switched to McKenzie Milton at this point. Don't know. I don't think Florida State fans are expecting a national championship this year, so they might experiment with a couple of things before they get into their really tough games late at the end of the season. In my opinion, though, Florida State has to win a game on the road this year because there are some tough games they have to play at home. Notre Dame, we'll get to a couple later in the year. But a lot of their tough games are on the road. Wake Forest necessarily isn't a tough game, but Sam Hartman is coming back at quarterback. And you guys who have been here on the channel for a long time know that I do like Sam Hartman. I think Sam Hartman is really overlooked, underloved. Sure, decision-making isn't the best at times. And Wake Forest has Jaquari Robertson, who is a really good wide receiver. I believe was an honorable mention on my top 10 wide receiver video. So Wake Forest is going to be able to exploit some things here with Florida State. And I think this game is going to be pretty close throughout. But I do think Florida State ends up pulling this one out. I think overall, the talent on the defense, while they did lose a lot in the front four and the back four, I feel like they're going to be able to replenish enough. They're going to have seen Notre Dame. It's a little bit of a tune-up game here from Jacksonville State before going on the road for your first road game. I think Florida State ends up getting this one done. Whoever the quarterback might be, whether it's Travis Jordan or it's McKenzie Milton, I think is going to outthrow Sam Hartman, and Florida State will win the game. Then they come back home for what, in my opinion, should be two easy games. I think a lot of people are overrating Louisville this year. Yes, Malik Cunningham can still be a good quarterback, but they're losing Tutu Atwell. They're losing Javion Hawkins. A lot of other playmakers on that team are gone as well. And it doesn't help that the coach is already getting hot seat talk, and we haven't even started the season. Louisville just didn't get a lot of things figured out this year, and I don't know how much that turns around in 2021. I think Florida State goes ahead and wins this game, beats Louisville, and improves to 3-1. I also think that Florida State beats Syracuse. Syracuse might as well be the worst team in the ACC. That's where I have them as, although Duke could be closing the gap for last place, so to speak. But Syracuse, DeVito's coming back at quarterback, and they're losing the two best defensive players they had to the NFL draft. Sorry, Syracuse. Sorry, Syracuse fans. I don't know what else you want me to say. I don't think you guys are going to beat Florida State this year. Win for the Seminoles. So already, I feel like we're going to start to see talk is Florida State back? Is Florida State back? They're 4-1 up to this point, and the loss to Notre Dame, it was going to be expected, and I think it's a respectable loss. And then they're going to hit a brick wall. They hit a brick wall with North Carolina here in Week 6. Look, North Carolina is too good. Sam Howell's my pick to win the Heisman. Mac Brown, I think people are overlooking what he's done, or not necessarily overlooking. I think they're underlooking what he's done at North Carolina. He's a fantastic head coach, a great recruiter as well. People want to come in and play for Mac Brown, and North Carolina's getting a transfer running back over from Tennessee by the name of Ty Chandler to replace Williams and Carter, of course, the guys that left. Yes, they're losing some pieces on the other sides of the ball, but I think North Carolina's going to be fine, and I don't think Florida State's going to be able to win this one. Now, they did beat them last year, but that was also at home, and North Carolina playing this one at home. Don't think the Seminoles are going to be able to escape the Tar Heels. And then they get their bye week. So perfect bye weeks in the middle of the season, and I think you're going to learn some things about Florida State through the first half, although the second half, in my opinion, is a lot tougher than the first. So UMass to start off. Yeah, we're going to quickly skip by that one. UMass is never usually that good. Win for Florida State. So now they are 1 win away from bowl eligibility. You need 1 win in your final 5 games, and that's going to be a challenge for this Florida State team on the road against Clemson. I think Florida State's going to keep this one closer than expected, especially I think Florida State's offense maybe can score a couple of times against this Clemson team. Again, probably depends on who the starter is. If it's Milton and he's healthy and he looks good, Florida State could make this one interesting on the offensive end. But defensively, Clemson's got way too much talent when you compare it to this Florida State defense. And, well, Clemson's defense, I think, is going to have quite a day against this Florida State offense that, again, could still be pretty underrated and could score some points. But Clemson's defense, too good, makes a lot of nice stops, and Florida State's defense can't do enough to slow down DJ Uyunglele, excuse me. Clemson wins that one. All right, home game against NC State. And you have to think out of the 4 games left on the schedule, this is the one that Florida State can win. If Florida State's going to win a game to get to the bowl game, this is the one. Uh-oh. Do you hear that? The Wolves are howling. Yes, I do have the Wolfpack beating Florida State. This could be a very close and exciting game. Again, Florida State's a hard team to figure out. If they're playing well up to this point, I can absolutely see this being a win for Florida State. But they have to be playing well on both sides of the ball. North Carolina State's got a lot coming back from what was a pretty impressive team last year. And I think North Carolina State isn't going to take a step back this year. And people were not expecting a lot out of North Carolina State last year. Look, NC State this year, I think people are going to have some expectations that I think are going to be met. I'm having a little bit of expectations for NC State. I think they go on the road in Tallahassee and get this win. NC State beats Florida State. All right, home game against Miami. Miami, to me, is the 3rd most talented team in the ACC, behind, of course, Clemson and North Carolina, who are also on this schedule. I don't think Florida State wins this game. So Florida State, guys, I just don't think wins this game. Look, Miami is better. De'Aaron King is a better quarterback than McKenzie Milton. Again, we don't know if Milton is healthy. If he's healthy, maybe could be a better one. Again, we'll see. But Miami is also one of the top teams in returning production. When you look at both sides of the ball, look, their only offensive weapon they're losing is what? Brevin Jordan at tight end? That's it. Cameron Harris is coming back. Lots of wide receivers. They're also getting Charleston Rambo over from Oklahoma. Miami is a loaded team this year. I like the Hurricanes a lot in 2021. Don't think Florida State's going to win that one. Then you have 2 road games to close out your season. Now, look, I like Boston College this year. I really do. I like Phil Jurkovec. I like what Boston College's offense is doing. But that defense for Boston College worries me a little bit. Now, I do have Boston College going 9-3 because I think their offense is going to win them a lot of games on the schedule that's pretty favorable for Boston College. But when you look at this matchup here, I know it's on the road for Florida State. But Seminole fans, you're going to a bowl game. I am predicting Florida State upsets Boston College here. I think Boston College could be in the top 15. Top 15 might be a stretch. In the top 25 up to this point. I think Florida State comes in, pulls off the upset against Boston College. Their offense does enough to push them to bowl eligibility. And then the road game against Florida. The annual game against Florida is back, and I don't think Florida State is going to win this one. Florida's got too much talent. Florida State's going to take a step back from where they were last year, but overall, I still think Florida is going to be better off than people think. So the Gators beat the Seminoles in the Florida matchup. So with that, I've already said it. Florida State, you're going back to a bowl game. My record prediction for you guys is 6-6. The absolute best case scenario I see is 8-4. And the extra win would be against NC State. And who knows? Maybe they upset Miami. Maybe they upset Notre Dame. Like, who knows? But the absolute best case scenario I see for Florida State is 8-4. And that absolute worst case scenario I see is 3-9. Again, a lot of things for Florida State depend on the health of McKenzie Milton. Can Mike Norvell really shine at Florida State? Does the offense work? Does the defense get better? There are a lot of factors that are going to contribute on whether or not Florida State has a good season in 2021. Watch out for this team, though, if they end up playing really, really well. That Notre Dame game is going to be a telltale game for how that season is going to go. Guys, that's going to do it from my Florida State predictions for the 2021 college football season. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on the Seminoles. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to look at the Minnesota Golden Gophers. So Minnesota fans, your time is up tomorrow. Goodbye.